Man. All right, peace to the family. You're tuned in for another episode of We're Talking Real Estate. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me find my banners here. Barry B, you want to go ahead and go ahead and kick it off?
Yeah, this is Barry B. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in Houston and surrounding areas, you go to homesbybarryb.com. You can call me at 832-786-1270. Or you can go Google Homes by Barry B. I'm on all social platforms. Give me a call, email, or message, and let's talk about those goals for 2024.
Gotcha. All right, Hyman, I got you queued up.
You got the Mansa Academy queued up, though.
Excuse me. There we go.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Hyman with H&L Premier Realty, here to help you with your real estate needs, whether it be buy, sell, or invest. Feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me at hnlpremierrealty.com or at the phone number 832-235-0985.
Gotcha. All right, so I got myself queued up. My name is Brandon B. Dixon, NMLS 1541210. Again, at Billionaire Loan, also on all social media, especially YouTube. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share, please. Tell a friend if you like our content. So also you can go ahead and book me for a consultation or apply for a mortgage. Go to www.applywithb.com. Also, you can call me anytime, 832-775-8357. And you can book me to be a luxury agent or agent if you want me to sell your property, or if you want to buy a property, or if you want to invest. Go to www.brandonbdixon.com. You can go there. Also, don't forget, if you want to join our investment club, it's www.cocinvestmentclub.com. So you can go there and get started. Let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. We're not going to waste any time. Oh, I got a seminar coming out later on in the second quarter. I'm going to announce that here probably next week. So once we iron down some dates. So let's go ahead and get started and not waste any time. We got some bids that we're going to react to. I wish Patrick was there because a couple of them on some tax stuff. So, some good tax stuff. So we're going to see what we're going to do. But let's start this one off with a housing bid, and then we'll go from there. So my boy Freddie Smith, man, Freddie Smith always brings some heat. So let's start off with Freddie Smith is the millennial guy, the zillennial guy. So this guy here.
Should you buy a $400,000 home if you make $100,000 in salary? You want to be able to afford your payment, but you don't want to be house poor. $400,000 home, let's say you put down 3% plus closing costs, it's going to be $25,000 cash up front out of pocket. Let's say you get a 7% interest rate. It's going to put your principal and interest payment around $2,600 a month, and then another $700 a month in taxes and insurances. So let's say $3,300 out the door for this home. Now, how they're going to qualify you, let's say you make $100,000 as a W-2 employee as a salary, and that's gross income. They're typically going to use about 40% of your income to qualify you with debt to income, which gives you a $40,000 allowance divided by 12 months, gives you $3,333. So you barely qualify, but you do it if you have no debt. Now, if you have a $500 car payment and $500 student loans, that $1,000 comes off and you can actually only afford $2,333 in the eyes of the lender, so you wouldn't qualify. But for this example, let's say you don't have any debt, but let's look at your real money here, your take home. $100,000 salary is probably $70K after taxes and everything. So that's about $5,800 a month in net pay. So this $3,300 payment without utilities or anything, yes, you can qualify on paper, but that's 57% of your take-home pay. So these are the kind of numbers that you want to break down when you're thinking about buying a house, because you want to comfortably afford the payment and you don't want to be house poor. Should you buy a $400,000?
So I'll go ahead and start it off because react first on this. I agree with the premise, but that's the thing about with these influencers, the numbers are flawed. You know, you got up to 50%, not 40% with DTI. So what you want to do is, take your annual divided by 12 and divide it by 2, and that's what you need all in, including the new note. All your bills, including the new note, is 50%. So that's how that works. Now, if you want to take it and say, all right, add another 10% to set aside, and then you want to decide if your house poor. From there, I would definitely agree with them. A lot of people max themselves out. If you're making $10,000 a month, 5,000 that is your 50% DTI. So that's supposed to be your bills, including the new note. So some people making 120,000, they want to get these 500, 600,000, 700,000 houses. That's not enough income in my eyes. Even though on paper you could afford it, you're really going to be house poor. I would say keep it to almost like a credit card. Keep it to 25, 30% max utilization. And that's even high. You really want to keep it to around 10, below your means. So a lot of people are house poor. Like the note is primarily 50% of their income. More than 50% of their income is going towards the house note. And it's not including utilities. So I like the premise, but I think his numbers are flawed. But I definitely agree with the message. I'll open that up. I'll open the floor.
One of those things, dealing what he was talking about, I would think that's something that you want to talk with your lender about, because I'm pretty sure the average person doesn't know. Okay, I did this and I have this amount of this percentage, and so when they go with their lender and say, okay, this is how much I make, and then like you just broke it down for them, okay, this, and you don't want to be 50% of your income going toward your house payment. So let's try to get it to this amount. I think that's something that you would have to, somebody would talk with their lender about.
They don't listen on that part. Yeah, they you know what I mean?
Because some people say, or some I've seen somewhere they say, you want to get the note where you want it. Now, where you want it and where it should be, probably two different things.
Exactly. Most people gonna go max it out.
Yeah, they're gonna go to the max. Yeah,
go to where it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll stretch their stuff out. They'll stretch themselves out for stuff that they, I guess, the house and stuff like that. And it should be the opposite. They should stretch themselves out and stretch themselves out for investments.
And I know when a buyer comes to me and they have their pre-approval and it's a certain amount on there, I let them know you don't have to get that amount. It's okay for you to get less. If you got a proof of $500,000, doesn't mean you have to get a $500,000 house.
Right. Most people gonna want that and get more. They're gonna want the $530,000 house.
Yeah, they're gonna want the 530 and talk them down to the 500.
Right. That's most people. But they don't realize that if it's at the tippy, it's going up. Don't forget that the taxes are going up, the insurance is up. And then you got to see if your wages is going to match that same thing. As your wages going to go up as quick as that, as tax and insurance going up.
And also, I try to let buyers know, not just the house note, your mortgage payment, but if you got 2 kids, small kids, in a few years they're gonna be in high school, and then in 4 years they're gonna be in college.
Right.
Right. Hey, I don't care if they get a scholarship or not, you still gonna be paying some money. So you got to think about that. You don't want to.
most loan officers and most real estate agents are transactional.
Yes.
Yeah, they're not looking at the picture down the line for you.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like I'm the bad guy if I come with the medicine and
Try
like,
to bring
nah,
them down. Yeah.
yeah, try to. It's like it's like they don't want to hear that. So it breaks most people with good intentions spirit because you want to make some money too. You don't want to go broke because a lot of people don't want to hear that noise. It's like it's very very few. That's why there's only the top 1%, because very very few people take heed. So it's like most people gonna. It's a debtor class society, so it's gonna be people make bad decisions. It just is what it is, and they make it based on emotion. It feels good, and make it for the long run. And the long run, everything will work out.
And
I
I think
think
that's
I think if you gonna stretch yourself out like that, you need a strategy for investments to make up the difference. You need to have a strategy. All right, here's what I want, but this is how I plan on paying for it, and it can't be just based on wage. I was watching this as we came in right before we got on air. There's this new dating show called Pop the Balloon, and where guy comes in or girl comes in, they pop the balloon if they don't like them, and then they ask them why they pop the balloon. And then when everybody introduces themselves, and hey, they do about 4 or 5 different things. Yeah, I'm a photographer, I'm a bartender, I'm a blah, blah, blah. That's the new society. Everybody does 4 or 5 different things now. So nobody back in the day, 50 years ago, you might have, hey, I'm a carpenter, and that's it. Nowadays, you're a carpenter, you're influencer, you're bartender, you're barber, and you write poetry on the side, and you selling plates on Uber Eats. That's today's society. Everybody that was on a dating show do 4 or 5 things, males and females. So those days are gone. So you got to have, all right, if I want this, I got to have a game plan on how I'm going to pay for this, and it can't be by salary alone.
Yeah.
I'll go yield the floor.
Yeah, like you said, I think that's the main thing. Like I say, most people are transactional and not relational, and I think that's why people need why the buyers need a professional lender and a real estate agent, because, like you said, buying a home is emotional. I like this house, I like that. They're not thinking about 5 years down the road, 7 years down the road, 10 years down the road. So they need somebody that can say, okay, let's slow it down. And now let's really kind of look at things. I know you like the house, or you want to look at something in this price range, but let's make sure that that's what you can get before we just go start looking at things just because you got approved for that amount,
Well, I think when you say slow it down, I don't think it's a matter of speed. I think it's just a matter of being smart. I think you can move fast if you got a game plan. You know what I mean? So I think it's not a matter of slowing down, because most people are gun shy anyway. They'll never make a decision because they're scared of making the wrong decision. So you tell them slow it down, they'll wait a couple more years, and they just hurting themselves. But people that waited from pre-pandemic, they hurt themselves. Now you damn near price yourself out. And so if you'd have took that leap of faith and got into that house, you'd have $100,000 worth of equity right now. So a lot of people hurt themselves, by not hopping into the arena. So think about it. If you $2,000 a month, over 3-4 years, that's $100,000. $3,500, man. 3-4 years, you pay $2,000 a month to somebody else. Don't take that long. That's money that if you put into your own house, that's money that's growing under your last name. That's not going anywhere. So, I mean, I wouldn't say pump the brakes. I think some people too pump the brakes too much. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and rent another year. All right, how does that make sense?
Well, I didn't mean like pump. I meant like
Yeah.
pump the brakes on. Okay, you want to buy a house, but let's look at this 375 instead of this 400, because we know.
Yeah. Well, that's our problem. We want
because we
the
know
Taj
that.
Mahal off the jump.
that
We want the Taj
that
Mahal.
car that you don't have debt in is already 20 years old, and so we know in a year or two you're gonna need a new car.
Well,
You know,
this
that's
is
why
the thing.
that's why they can afford or that's why they qualify for the $500,000 house, because they debt is low, but you driving around in a 1990 car that you probably gonna need a new car in a little while, or your kids getting ready to go to college, or I mean,
Well, let's
something
get all
like
the
that.
way. And Hyman should know he worked with investors. Those people in the $1 million houses don't pay for the house; they live free. Let's keep it all the way 100. Most people don't. They have are middle class or upper middle class. They just make
Oh, but I mean, I
investments.
wasn't talking about the $1 million house. That's a different level
No, no,
of
no,
buyer right there.
no. I'm going there. I'm going there.
Oh, okay.
People that could afford a $1 million house have made smart investments. That not all of them are millionaires. They might be a millionaire worth worth of real estate. They don't. A lot of them don't make $1 million a year. So they just make smart investments. Your investments and that cash flow could pay for your living. Let's keep it all the way 100. You got to make investments as far as smart investments that's going to pay for your liabilities. That's just what it is. Every successful person I know that lives in $1 million plus house, they have not only that $10,000 they have a month. I'm just going off that number that I used earlier, but they have another $5,000 in cash flow they got from investments, and that pays for that $5,000-$6,000 house note that they're about to get.
Oh man. So what was interesting about the video about the 500,000? I would have attacked it from this perspective. Okay, you get approved for 500 grand. Instead of me saying, why don't we just go down a little bit because you don't have to be house poor, I would have took the approach of, let's see what the $500,000 house has to offer versus a 450 or 475 or 435. When you get into that price point, there's not very many differences in them. Not very many different. So if what you want that's in the $500,000, if it's in the 435, let's go get the 435 and just make sense, right? You don't have to tell them where you don't want to be house poor. You just say, well, which one offers you if the 500 and this one offer you the same thing, they automatically gonna take the cheaper one because they give you the same thing. And at that price point, they pretty much all have the same thing. Only thing that may be different will be
years. I mean, the age of it, the age of the roof. I mean, the amenities that's in there, the layout.
Nah,
a lot of it dip off once you get the. I don't know the exact price point, but there's a big difference between the 375 house and the $500,000 house.
But I said I prefaced it by saying 435. I knew once you get into the fours, there's no big difference between fours and fives. There's a big difference between threes to fives. Way big, right?
Right.
Square footage, and you're looking at square footage, outdoor living, and pools. When you get to that 4 to 5, that's if it does not have those three things, it's an automatic. Okay, you coming back down. You don't have what it offers.
Well, to add that, don't forget that if you're taking $65,000 difference, you divide that by 30 years. So that's only a few $100s a month. We're talking about a couple of thousands. So we're talking about the jump from the threes to the bottom of the five. So a lot of people that's tickling five probably need to be in the threes. Like, say, for example, when I got my house, I could have been in the threes, but I chose to be in the one. And why I chose to be in the ones is because it's affordability. And then let's all the way keep it all the way 100. Who are we trying to impress? You got to look at who we trying to impress. Like, I'm stretching myself out for who. And I like what you said as far as what am I losing? Yeah, this one might be a nicer trim, nicer fixtures and stuff like that. But who am I trying to impress?
You're trying when you come home, you want to feel good when you come home. That's what.
Either way, I'm gonna feel good.
You're not trying to impress nobody.
Right. Either way, you're gonna feel good. It's a matter of would you rather feel good?
And back to the amenities. Especially like the yard and landscaping. I think that a lot of that, like that backyard, the pool, if it has a pool, and that outside area, I think a lot of differences in that. Yeah, because you want somewhere, like you say, when you come home, you can stretch out or do whatever, you know.
So for the example of the video though, B, he asked was if you make $100,000, is $500,000 out of your price point, right? If he makes 100 grand, that person is not looking in threes in a 300,000. That person is looking at 450 to 500. That's just reasonably saying. But if a $500,000 home and a 435 to 450 offers the same thing, you give them and say, well, these things offer the same. You get a cheaper payment here. You go this route.
Let's take a look at them. You know,
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right. But my thing is, I get you, but that 435 and 500 is real close. You know, as far as let's just look at payment, raw payment. If you look at the difference on that, 65 grand divided by 360, it's about $180 difference a month. So you're looking at $200 difference a month. You know, but if you're talking, you know, $150,000 difference, that's $500. So now you're getting that's a little bit more significant. So you got to realize, you know, that $500, that's the car note right there, you know, on the low end, you know. So you got to ask yourself, like, hey, and don't forget those taxes could fluctuate. You know, the taxes could go up a couple $100. The insurance could go up a couple $100.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and homeowners insurance.
Yeah, so all that could go up. So I think a lot of people
they don't think about that.
Yeah, I took the video. A lot of people get into it, and they at the tippy top of their budget, and they don't, which is fine. I don't. If you're going to do that, then you need to have a game plan on how I'm going to pay for it, and you need to have investment strategy in mind on how can I even this out. You know, so and that's what a lot of people don't plan to have. They try to do it under their salary, and that's when you fall off. You know, that's when you become house poor. Now, if I have, all right, I'm gonna follow this up, and I'm about to get 2 investment properties that cash flow the exact same amount. You know, so instead of taking the down payment and putting 20% down, I'm gonna put the minimum down, and I'm gonna take the other money and invest in get 2 quick investment properties that I'm gonna renovate. Boom. And now 6 months from now, I got 2 buy and holds. That's cash flow this thing. That makes sense. Within a year, all right. Now I got two properties that pays for this property. That makes sense. You know, so that's how I would do it. Let's go to the next one real quick. This one I wish Patrick was in on, but this is more of a tax thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and go there though.
They say everything is in a trust. The Rockefeller has a trust. But it's always families at that too. It's always families. So remember that you cannot hand down wealth through individuals. It has to be a family. So the trust was not just making sense for me. And then I started looking at it from the business aspect. And that's when I started getting remedy in the public and in the private, you know, just making sure that your name is a business. You know, I made my name an LLC. And when I was learning these things, I was actually going through a court case. I learned it from like some people in the industry, like back in the day, that there were singers, and they said make your name an LLC. I didn't understand it at first, but then I learned how to start owning nothing and controlling everything. You work for the name, so you got to learn how to make the name work for you. And like with the structure, we were just talking about it. The structure. My main thing with one of the structures is a holding company in one of the 5 charging order protection states. I don't know if everybody's familiar with the 5 charging order protection states, or even if they know what a charging order is. But your name is a sole proprietorship. That's how I look at it, automatically. So that they say everything is in a trust. The Rockefeller has a trust.
So yeah, so this more on the tax side.
How did you get?
Huh?
Go ahead. B said more on tax side. What else?
Yeah, there's more on tax strategy and stuff like that. So, a lot of people don't forget it's offense, defense, special teams. And I talked about this before. And offense is, of course, your salary and your income. Defense is actually, how you save and your 401ks and your retirement plan. And then special team is your tax strategy. So and you need all three to win the game. So tax strategies, when you're talking about trust and putting your name as the LLC, that's how you win. That's how you, like you said, owning nothing and controlling everything. So me personally, as a person, I know it's a little bit deep, and I wish Patrick here so he could expand on it because I'm not a fiduciary. Disclaimer: I'm just a loan officer. I'm just a mortgage broker. But when you put things in a trust, don't forget that there's you as a person and there's you as a corporation. You know, and when you move things in a holding company and a corporation, they're taxed accordingly. So you could do it to where you move stuff in and out as far as taxes. I give you an example. If I put a holding company underneath, my nonprofit, I put these properties underneath my holding company instead of me as a person, because me as a person is still an LLC. Then I no longer, and I'm a 501c3. I no longer have to pay property taxes. So it's a tax strategy that that you got to get familiar with. I think everybody should have a nonprofit in their portfolio somewhere, because there's ways that you can funnel taxes through that as well. So it's tax strategy. You got to be set up, and you got to strategize your taxes 5-10 years in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's not time looking like this is foreign. We got to get out of the I work, I get a W-2, and I worry about, I get a 1099, and I worry about taxes when they come.
Yeah,
That's
I've
not
heard of the put your name in an LLC before. I've heard other financial people talk about doing that, and it does give like tax strategy, tax
benefits.
implications to that, and own nothing and control everything. I've heard that saying before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, like I said, we still trying to do everything underneath our name, and as you're underneath your social security number, when you should have several different businesses and several different entities. And even your name it should be a separate entity. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Philby.
Huh?
Yeah, it makes sense. I get the premise. I get the premise. Before
Right.
before we even go down the rabbit hole of trust holding company LLC, gotta tell the folks, hey, before you start thinking about going to get a trust, make sure you have something that is providing you an asset or something that's making you money, right? And the amount of money you need to have, you need to be making at least about what $40,000 a year outside of your normal income before you even consider the trust, before you even consider the holding company just yet. Because the amount of money that you think you're going to be saving in taxes, because you're making less than $40,000, you'll actually be wasting more money. To create a trust is going to cost you about $5,000. To update your trust every 2 or 3 years, that's another, because you're going to update it and do different things with it every couple of years, because things change in our life, whether you're buying more, selling off, whatever the case may be, appointing new trustees. Where if you have a child at that point, if you do like the guy said, your trust is pretty much your family, and your trustees is your wife, your children, and when they become of age, they become a board member of the trust, board members of the trust, in turns like that. So before you go into that, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have a minimum of $40,000 of income coming in from whatever business that you're operating. If you do not have that yet, keep the trust in mind, keep all that great stuff in mind, keep building your assets up to have that trust. Once you get to that point, then you go back and you go start your trust, and your trust you have to, whatever structure you started with in your business, you're going to revamp that whole thing, because your trust is now going to be the official entity that runs that business, and that business is all the funds run up to the trust, and then the trust pays out all the trustees whatever amount that you decide to pay them through. Holding companies work best for pretty much just real estate. So if you have 5 or 6 companies, 5 or 6 houses, the holding company holds the houses. You hold a house in this holding company. The holding company reports all income to the trust. Once again, having a holding company is another expense that you have to still. You pay taxes, but you pay a lesser percentage of taxes on the holding company as you would as your W-2. But remember, you always have to have enough assets or enough income coming in from these businesses that you're running before you go and open up any of these type of things. If you just have one investment, a simple LLC, and you can still run that through your traditional taxes, and you can still get great benefits even running it through your normal 1040 EZ form or whatever the new forms that they run to do your taxes, because you can still deduct and depreciate even there. But if you're thinking about doing these things, make sure you have plenty of money coming in from those assets. If you don't, you'll be spending a lot of money that you really just didn't have in the first place.
Do you yield the floor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have the floor, because I'm not versed on those, and that was a lot that he told me. Now, I know one thing that I do think about a lot with is we do hear about these things, and sometimes people don't say everything that goes on with it. You know, especially these people that say, "Hey, start an LLC and blah 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 blah," and it's like, huh? It's like, okay, don't just tell people to start stuff. You know, you gotta tell them everything. You know, let them know everything that goes on with it.
And if you really want to get savvy, you say, well, I'm gonna just do what I want to. If you're gonna start a trust, you go get you a couple of life insurance policies and put the life insurance policy in the trust. That's a great way to start. Well, if you don't have any money, just do it like that. And then when you go to glory, the trust pays out all the trustees, and it pays them out forever, depending on how you set up.
I'm glad I let you talk, so you start answering some of your own mistakes. So y'all yield the floor so I can go in on this.
Go for it.
You know what I'm saying? Because again, I stayed quiet. You know what I'm saying? So, I think both, answers are semi bad advice, and I think that we got to move past it. And this is what I'm trying to fight against. The Barry's point, because it's the easiest one. Not knowing is one part of the problem. You know, we gotta know everything about Diddy. Not saying you personally, but I'm just saying us as a culture, we know everything about Diddy's case. We don't know anything about tax shelters, and which is we got to know about this. And then more to Hyman's point, your biggest asset is yourself. And even Patrick said this a couple of episodes ago. So you don't need let's just do the numbers. What you're talking about? Why make an extra 40,000? If I make an extra 40,000, let's say 35. So I'm gonna go underneath your number and show you how the numbers are flawed. So if I do 35,000 and the government take 30% of that, that's over 10 grand that they're gonna take. Even if the number was correct, that you said 5,000, which is a little high, it's about $2,500. And now you don't have to update it every couple of years. But even if I do 5,000, that 10,000 that the government is going to take is still a higher number. So I wouldn't wait till $40,000. That doesn't make any sense. Also, for very cheap, especially if you're young, you could go ahead, like you said, get life insurance policies and put on all your family members, your kids, and stuff like that, and put that in the trust. And just the saving on the probate, because that's another thing. We think we bulletproof. Are you guaranteed tomorrow? That doesn't make any sense. Are we guaranteed to live to 30? Are we guaranteed to live to, whatever, to 35, whatever you think you're going to live? That's at least the things that you should do is have, especially if you have a family, if you have loved ones, is have life insurance on yourself. And if you have a house, you have mortgage insurance on your house. Not just the homeowner's insurance, but in case of your demise, God forbid, that mortgage is paid out and that particular asset goes to your heirs. That's what a trust is for. So you don't need $40,000. You need a body that you could breathe and pay $50, $60 a month in life insurance. And then that I can have this good instead of probating it when my kids scrambling to probate. I already got the trust and set up. We spent $2,500 on some rims. So we got to prioritize this stuff, man. You know, we wait till I'm dealing with somebody right now that might not be able to close because they don't have a trust. They don't have a trust in order. And you got somebody way in another city that might be a side kid that don't want to sign off. You see what I'm saying? Now you're screwed. You're not going to ever be able to sign it unless that person sign off. If you're there to trust, this is, and it'll be the end of that. But we don't. We wait. We think we're gonna live forever, and we wait till it's too late. Kick the bucket, and we leave it to our kids to scrape up the mess. You see what I'm saying? But now you need to have this trust. You need to have these things in order now, just to be serious with life. Stop kicking the can down the road. Get on it now. This should be normal things. This should be something that, just like I got to go out on Friday and have a good time. If I'm working and breathing and I want a family, I should have a trust and I should have tax strategy. That should be as normal as that. So I disagree with I got to make $40,000 to get me a trust. That doesn't make sense. So I yield the floor on that. For any rebuttals.
The minimum, the issue with trust now is, you're right. You probably can get one done for $2,500, right? But the ones I've looked into that are, like you say, bulletproof, that don't allow some extra person from out of state to come in and kind of wreck everything. That's what that one would do. The bulletproof one would keep stuff like that from happening. You can go on LegalZoom and get one done, and you can do it yourself. Be 1 and 2 pages, and that's it. Outlining a few things that you just want to get done. The reason why I said that you need to have money coming in, because to maintain that trust is what costs so much, right? Like I said, every 2 years something happens. Whether if it's me and it's my children, if quote unquote my kids are at the age of having children, then I got to make sure they're in the trust when they have kids, right?
But that's
So
not
that
every
means,
couple of years.
but you just never know. I may get a divorce. If I get a divorce, my wife is not going to be a trustee.
But it's
like
not going to be $2,500. Let's say it's a couple of $100 to adjust it.
Not when you go through your attorney. No. You know that for a fact.
All right, $500. Wow. Yeah. It's not going to be $2,500. It's not going to happen. Even if it is, okay, what is $2,500?
I'm just telling you that the fact of
the taxes
of making sure you have assets already set up to go into the trust. Don't just go out and buy a trust. Say, I got a trust now. My kids is covered. Everybody's covered, and you don't have any assets that's sustainable over the next 3 to 5 years. Who?
You yourself is not an asset?
I don't disagree about having a life insurance policy as a trust. You're not. And here's the thing: you got to have more than one. Right? Because
let me break it down. If you
let me give you an example. This when I talked to a couple of attorneys about it, they was like, look, that's great if you can put your life insurance policy in the trust, but when you pass away, the life insurance policy through your life insurance company will actually pay out your beneficiaries faster than the trust. The beneficiaries can get paid out in less than 2 or 3 weeks after the passing and all that good stuff. But if it's in the trust still has to go through the necessary protocols to issue out the funds in the manner that you choose. So you have one policy that's made for the trust to allow for the generational wealth. You have another policy that is just a regular policy. In case something happens, money gets paid out quicker through just the life insurance policy holder to your beneficiaries versus going through a trust.
Yeah, extra week in retrospect is nothing.
You just never know what goes on at that time when it's time to do that. You could say an extra week. Cool. Whatever you say, you think it may be. But like I said, when the attorney...
I don't think that's true 100%.
You don't think 100%?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's true to 100% where it takes that much longer as far as time to go through the trust, especially with nowadays how how things are working. I think it's synonymous. The payout synonymous. In fact, it might actually be a little bit quicker. To go through your trust as opposed to, just relying on especially if you're talking multi policies, which you should have. I think you should have. And I said this since I've been on air. My first or second podcast, we talked about you should have, if you want to start a family, you, your wife, your kids, your mama, your daddy, her mama, her daddy, y'all should all have policies on. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain, they're gonna kick off. And and that all needs to be inside of that trust. So that's multi-million-dollars right there that I'm only paying a couple $100 a month for. And so take those subscriptions, take those net. By the time you add that up, Netflix, Hulu, all that add up, and that could be your life insurance. For your whole family.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So, and that's what we need, and that's why other communities have gotten filthy rich.
Very true.
Because that's 100%. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of when. I never seen anybody that never was immortal. So that's the one thing that's gonna for sure happen.
That's very true. Very true.
So that money's gonna get as long as you're paying, that has a benefit to it. So and then you could, grandma passed away, boom. That goes, grandpa passed away, boom. And it reverses. Instead of them leaving, but we got to scramble to get the arrangement together. It's already set up, and the arrangement paid for, and we get our benefits. And so on and so forth. That's how it goes. At least on that end, and then that way you could dump it to other businesses and stuff like that. Let's go to this next one. I don't want to dwell on this too long, but I think my final word on this is that we got to take this serious. Like, we got to really get into this stuff. And I know it's boring. I know it's not like sexy, but this should be common. This should be like breathing.
Hey, I'd like to buy a house.
Fantastic. And how many homes do you already own?
None.
So you're looking for a starter home?
That's right.
In 2024?
Yes.
Well, that's just peachy. May I suggest a tree house?
What? No, I want an actual house.
And I want to learn how to backflip, but with my bad knees, I don't think that's happening either.
That's ridiculous.
But it hit the market when it was cheap in 2008.
In 2008, I was in 9th grade.
And instead of wasting your time reading The Kite Runner, maybe you should have been grinding.
Oh, yeah. Silly me.
No one to blame but yourself.
Okay, so you're telling me you think it's totally fine that the average person can't afford a home anymore?
I mean, it's fine with me. I bought my house for a nickel back in 1983.
Of course you did.
But enough about that. Let's see what we can do to get you a new home.
Great. Thank you.
The first option would be to liquidate your current assets, like trusts, stocks, yachts.
I don't have any of that stuff.
Okay, I'll just put 2 poor.
What? No, I'm
the
not.
The next thing you could do is move to a more affordable area. I hear West Virginia is lovely.
I can't move. My job is here.
Okay, well then have you considered selling your organs and or bone marrow?
I'm not doing that.
Well then I don't know what you expect.
Son of a this is absurd. If I can't afford a house, what am I supposed to do?
Just keep doing what you're doing.
Which is?
Renting and paying for somebody else's house.
Hey, I'd like to buy a house.
Fantastic.
Yeah. A little satire, man. So this is what it comes to in 2024. You gotta, sell your organs and bone marrow to afford a house, or
get a tree house. Unless you go every month.
Yeah, or get a tree house. So is this what it comes to? I mean, I think they not too far off, man. The way they're setting up, it's gonna be more and more. Where it's unless you had that head start, it's gonna be hard to get in. Unless you make some kind of strategy in order to get in, it's not gonna be as easy as it once was. Like I said, you can get a Cadillac and a house. Mortgage payment used to be $49 back in the day. You know what I mean? So Cadillac used to cost 7 G's. So brand new off the lot. So I mean, those days is gone. Like, so it's getting to where it's out of hand. And the problem is, it's cool if the wages were rising, and people are. It's just in different avenues. We just got to think different. People are making money even easier. You can start your TikTok and make you $1 million. I was watching something last night. This girl made $300,000 a month, off OnlyFans. So this is just
That's one of the oldest professions. B. That's
Well, not I mean, she didn't do any like pornography. It was just she had her OnlyFans. So it's digital media. They said Shannon Sharp. How much Shannon Sharp made off the Cat Williams interview? This interview's two dudes sitting down on the couch talking. You couldn't do that before. They didn't have the technology to do that. So you can make money in different ways. I think you got to just open up your mind and embrace what our dad did, what our grandpa did is dead. Where he worked and clocked in, clock out, and go home and eat dinner and go on do something on the weekend. That's gone. It's clock in, clock out. Maybe clock in, clock out one more time before that's gone. Then I go do social media for an hour live, and then boom on the weekends do plates. And then do ride sharing. When that's gone, that's what this is now.
I wouldn't know. It's funny, man.
So
that was funny, bro.
Right.
That was funny. Affordable housing. If we're gonna talk, are we just trying to talk about affordable housing again, or just trying to figure out how to earn more money?
I would say, however you will react to the video, I took it as that. I think it's come to a time where it's getting it's gonna become the norm where hey, the rich or you poor, and that's how was his attitude. Oh, you poor, you want to do? You might
Should have been out there grinding when you was 8 instead of trying to learn how to read.
Yeah. I think that's fine, but I think the way because look at what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. People are buying apartments are going up is luxury. Houses are going up is luxury. So it's for people that's already got it. They're not really doing. I think you even said there is no market for affordable housing.
Nah, they've been trying to attack that for the past damn near 10 to 15 years now. Affordable housing
Right.
since the housing crash in 2008, they've been trying to attack that. And
so it's gonna be either one or two things. Either you got it or you don't.
Pretty much.
And that was a satire on that premise. Like, all right, you broke up. I don't even want your business. Like, what
we're gonna do then?
Yeah, what we gonna do? You gonna sell some mortgage? You ain't got a trust? Oh.
Yeah, you ain't got a yacht. I mean, I don't know how would I want to attack that, right? Because yes, that is a very hard video to react to because it hits so many points of the way we live today. People working hard every day, punching the clock, working 12, 14 hours a day, still not enough. Go still doing Uber Eats and rideshare on the weekend, barely making it after that. You know what I mean?
And living off a credit card.
And living off and turning over credit cards constantly. So that is a really, really a massive problem that the folks we elected to put in the office can't solve. They too busy trying to go save other countries. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a whole nother animal in that. But I believe that you're right. You do have to get out there and hustle and get some other hustles and just apply that money in a sensible way, whether it be investing in real estate, saving it, coming up with something else to make more money, to keep turning that money over. Because most definitely you're going to need it to make any next move, whether it is to buy a house or to get into another investment. You still got to have to make more money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because back in the day, I guess you could work one job and make your $60,000.
Remember that?
Work your $60,000 a year. When I bought my first house, I was making about 50.
Right.
Had a 3-bedroom.
Right.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
had 3 bedrooms, 2-car garage in a nice neighborhood. My house was like 80-something thousand. I was making one job, and it was lovely. I think back now, why did I move? I moved. It was in different state, so I moved back to Texas.
We're down talking a person making $60,000 a year. That's still
I'm not down talking.
That's still $4,900 a month, man. That's
I'm not
value
down
living
talking.
right
I'm
there.
just saying how
I think
that
that
is.
ain't no bread nowadays, bro.
It's not.
Bro,
It's not
that's
enough.
solid, man.
No, it's not,
That's
bro.
solid, man.
You
It's
could
not.
make, yeah, you could make that. You could. They got a woman that's pretending to be an AI on TikTok that makes that per hour. You know, so you making that per month. So you gotta look at that and step your game up.
I mean, like I said, that's not bad money to make. Though,
You know,
for real.
I mean,
That's 'cause you stuck in 1983. You stuck in the 90s. All right, let's
early
take
2000s.
Barry.
Early
You
2000s.
said Barry. You said you bought your house for 50,000. You was a teacher back then, right?
No, I said I was making 50. I didn't say I bought the house for 50.
No. But when you bought your house, you was a teacher, right? You're a teacher by trade.
No. I was working in I was a design drafter engineer.
All right, so design draft engineer.
Yeah.
And how much would you say that same position makes now? You were making 50 back then. How much do they make now?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. 20 years later, I would hope they. I mean, I would hope they're making at least 70.
Nah,
80.
All right.
no. They're making
All
way
right,
more
cool.
than that.
Let's
I think
leave
they had
it down.
100.
Check this. Let's
20
leave it down.
years.
Hold on. Let's leave it down.
Uh-huh.
So 20 years, they're making $20,000 more. However, that same $80,000 house is $250 now. And it quadruple. However, they only went half. You know what I'm saying? As far as the wages, that's the problem. So you could do either one or two things. You could cry about it or do something about it. All right. So the wage is not going anywhere. So that one job not going to cover everything like it used to do back in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So now they got other stuff that's available for you to make income that's quick and easy. Ride sharing, catering, Uber Eats, food trucks that you get. You can buy a food truck for 16 grand. You get your investment property. You know what I'm saying? There's all kind of ways to make money. So you can either adapt or die. It's not going back. I don't think it's ever going back to where it was.
Oh no, it's never gonna go back.
Right. I don't think it's ever going back to where the wages, a man can live off of one wage that's middle class. You either high end where you got a high income job where you went to school for it as a STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, something to that effect.
Draft engineer. That's what that is.
Right. But even that's, like I said, this depends. There's hierarchy, there's levels. So, a lot of people go into tech, like I said, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, you making, I'm looking at them, they're making $150,000, $200,000 a year off the top. So it's just the profession. If you go one of those professions, the country's changed. Let's just cut to the chase. The country's changed. And you're gonna have to have more than one thing. Unless you just plan on renting. And I think what is Real Player One or what was that movie? It's slipping my mind now. Where your boy was the president, but it was about the future. I think that's coming to fruition. Where all they did was they worked from home remote, and that's all they could do. That's all they could afford. And sit in front of these computers and watch TV all day, watch TikTok all day, and work. And they had to do. It was basically used as energy. So, and it was just constantly. You was just stuck. You was basically like the Matrix. You just stuck in a little loop. So you're gonna have to do something to bust out that loop. That's just it. It is what it is. I got one more on that line. Let's go. Let me run this one right fast, and I got one more after this, and then we can roll out.
I'm just a little confused about what I'm supposed to be doing.
You make sure people pay enough in taxes.
So I just tell them how much to give us.
Oh, God, no. I mean, we know exactly how much they should pay, but it's a lot more fun to watch them try to figure it out for themselves.
Well, I guess I'm just a little confused of what exactly we're focusing on.
I don't follow.
Well, like take this guy for example. He made $10 million last year and only paid $5 in taxes.
So
you told me to skip him.
And that's a problem?
Well, it just seems like a lot of money we're missing out on.
Oh, don't worry. We make it up in other ways.
Other ways?
Yeah, like we just started buckling down on taxing those tips given to those minimum wage servers.
So we care more about the $100 that the average American's not paying than we do the millions of dollars that rich people aren't paying?
Now you're getting it.
Well, it just feels like it should be the other way around. It's easy to tax regular people.
And that all seems fine.
Oh my God, I forgot fines.
What?
We make loads of money off fines.
What do you mean?
Like when some people can't afford to pay their taxes, we charge them more money for not paying.
So then what are we even using this tax money for anyway?
Oh, tons of things. Roads, military, schools, military, general infrastructure stuff, lack of health care. No, I'm new here, but I'm just a little confused about what I'm supposed to be.
Right. So that's one to the taxes that we talked about earlier. You know, I like the way they put stuff because they put it to where you got no choice but to look at it and laugh and then really, really see what's going on. You know, so but yeah, they figured it out, man. Millionaires don't pay taxes.
Oh, we knew that. Who didn't know that?
That's because of what I had last segment. They had
There
tax
go.
strategy.
Yeah, like you said, you underpaid by $200. They come after you and want to
They
garnish
fine you.
wages, but the man making millions, we gonna let him roll. It's all
Right.
good.
So what
We
you
can
gonna
send
do?
our money
You
so we can
gonna
send our money
complain about it, or you
to
gonna get the
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's come on, man. No.
So well, so that's the thing. What are you gonna do about it? You gonna complain, or you gonna learn how to play the game?
You gotta play the game, man. You gotta play the tax game with the folks, man.
Mhm.
Right.
100%. You gotta play the tax game with the folks. And
Yep. So I'll let you go ahead.
as a people, we just struggle with understanding how taxes really work as a people, right? We are so excited about getting that $6,000, $7,000, $10,000. Some people get 15. Some people get at this time of year that you're not even concerned with actually how much you're. I think Patrick said it best. Do you want to get the government a tax-free loan? I keep that in the brain. No, you don't want to get the government a tax-free loan because they've taken money from you for all year long just to give you a percentage back without even interest in it because they're not doing the same for you. But like I said, we've been struggling in that area, in that realm for so long. And and here's the thing, I don't care. I don't have a problem with millionaires not paying as much because they learn the strategy and they're just applying it. The information is there for us to do it. They got to do it.
Right. But exactly. It's for everybody. It's for everybody to hop on board. And it's the information age. There's no excuses. It's just you got to really smell yourself and look at yourself. Like, if you struggling, it's because you want to struggle. Like, you still paying all this in taxes because you still have the 1990 mind frame or what your mama told you or somebody told you, like, all right, I get my tax and I hope and wish every year that I get a nice return. I'm going to claim Becky kids. I'm going to claim Charlene kids, and then maybe I can get that same impoverished mind frame when you could, all right, instead of paying taxes, I don't want nothing in taxes. Give me my money right now. And let me go and keep my money. You know, and there's ways that you could do that. Instead of paying taxes, instead of withholding, instead of getting I'm just making up numbers. Instead of getting if you're making $1,000 a week, instead of after taxes you get $600, give me 900 or let me keep that extra $300 a week in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And make some moves with it. And make moves with it. Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
You know? That's ways that you could do that. So again, offense, defense, special teams. If I could keep more money than I'm earning, why not do that?
Very true, man. That's very true, dog. I mean, we just struggle with that, or if we don't struggle, we are nervous or scared that the big IRS gonna come after us. I'm like
the boogeyman. Like,
that's not
it's in the books how to do this. And you see that Donald Trump said this on a national debate. He said this. Go Google this. You know, I might put this on there.
Yeah, he said it.
He said, well, I heard you don't pay taxes. He said, that's because I'm smart.
Yeah. And he said, I know you're not going to change it.
Yeah, like, and it's because of people like you ain't going to change it.
You benefiting too.
He said this.
Yeah.
And you just, El Trampo, man. El Trampo.
You know, I'm trying to play that YouTube clip, man. Hold up, man.
And people getting mad at him because of that. Like, dog, what you mad at him for, man? Yeah,
what are you mad? I mean, he playing the game. You got to get in there. Get in the game, coach. Let me in the game, coach.
That rascal said I think he owed what 600 million. That rascal, I go get a loan for that. Don't worry about it. I go get a loan from out of country.
475, I think. Or was it
475? 475
Yeah,
million. He said, "Yeah, I go get a loan from overseas bank. They give it to me. I'm good for it." He was listing out what he was worth, and he said his name or his brand was worth damn near $1 billion. And here's the thing, he lies about a lot. I don't think he's lying about that.
Right.
I don't think he's lying about that.
Yeah.
Let's run this right fast.
Against my lawyer's wishes, when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. As soon as she releases them, I will release my tax return.
You've got to ask yourself, why won't he release his tax returns? And I think there may be a couple of reasons. First, maybe he's not as rich as he says he is. Second, maybe he's not as charitable as he claims to be. Third, we don't know all of his business dealings, but we have been told through investigative reporting that he owes about $650 million to Wall Street and foreign banks. Or maybe he doesn't want the American people, all of you watching tonight, to know that he's paid nothing in federal taxes, because the only years that anybody's ever seen were a couple of years when he had to turn them over to state authorities when he was trying to get a casino license, and they showed he didn't pay any federal income tax. So if he's paid zero, that means zero for troops,
There it is.
zero for vets,
There you go.
zero for schools or health.
He said it himself. That makes me smart. Can you argue with him?
I'm not
All of them paid. I
gonna-
mean, Jeff Bezos don't pay taxes. Amazon pays no taxes. So
why are we
he ain't the
paying?
only one.
Why are you paying? Why are you giving the government a third of your check? What makes Trump so special? He was a private citizen before. So you can do the same thing. But see, it's a more you don't pay taxes. You don't pay taxes. These rich folks don't pay taxes either.
No. It's just
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
wake up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And figure out what this is, man. Like, man, get out of that mold. Like, start what we've been programmed to do. The thinking, all right, you programmed to do this. We programmed to do. Break out of that, man. Everybody getting the information's out. That's out of the bag. Let's run this last clip.
that Trump something else, man. He's something else.
I mean, you can't blame. I like that. You know, shit.